Hello everyone and welcome to the debrief where we take a look and see what Hammers Chat subscribers are saying about the match before. That match in question is Aston Villa 2, West Ham United 1 in the FA Cup, out of the FA Cup. But I've woke up feeling all right, to be honest with you. I'm feeling quite excited for the Fulham game. I'm a bit disappointed. I think it's not necessarily a reflection of Graham Potter. I think it's just a reflection of going out of the FA Cup. I think that's my disappointment. And also that I think things were going well until two injuries played its part. I think the first one impacted us, and I think the second one killed us. And that's where my disappointment lies, in the sense that I don't think Potter got a fair crack at it last night. I would have liked to have seen what would have happened if there was no injuries. And I have a little feeling we might have gone through. I don't know. It's all hypothetical. Villa cranked it up in the second half, and they were getting better as the game went on. Ross Barkley going off helped them massively. But I don't know. I think with Fullkrug and Summerville for the duration of the game, I think it's a different game. And I appreciate it's all if buts and maybes. And obviously the corner that was given, there was never a corner. And I think that's where my disappointment lies, that it was, we're out, we move on. But I feel like maybe we had an opportunity to go through. It was just taken out of our hands. There was nothing West Ham did, nothing Graham Potter did. It was down to poor officiating and bad luck on the injury front. So because of that, that's why I'm feeling positive, really. I think there's a big difference if, it was purely Potter's fault. I'd be saying, oh, okay. But it wasn't. Anyway, if you're watching live, please get your thoughts into the live chat. You're watching this a little bit later on Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday. Get your comments into the comment section below, and I'll be back later on throughout the days to have a little chit chat with some of you and see what you're all saying in regards to the match. Been reading comments on the review last night, most of them, and a lot of positivity, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people are in line with what I'm thinking, which was we gave it a go, some positives to take from it, but the transfer market may be important to West Ham over the next few months, weeks. Simon says, hoping before to get some glimpses of how Potter might progress the team and maximise its potential. I think we got that until the 4 substitutions, and it was encouraging. Need 2 or 3 signings. Given the impressive debut of Scarles, Potter will hopefully take a closer look at some of the other promising youth players. I can discuss that if you want, Simon. Remind me in 10 minutes or so. We'll stick to the game and then we'll go off a tangent a little bit. Michael says, so sad about Fullkrug. Gutted. Glad it wasn't his Achilles, though. Suspect saying the new rule, giving corner kicks for nothing, needs to be looked at again. Michael saying he wants to see a 3-2-4-1 with the box midfield, 2 number 10s with Kudus and Paqueta, Bourne and Summerville out wide. Not for me, but without getting into too much of a debate. Yeah, but no, I get it, but it's not for me. Suspect says this new rule, he's done the same thing. He's basically done it again. Suspects dropped the joke in twice. Adrian says, enjoyable first half. Injuries killed us. Those subs were odd. Really not sure how Potter can fix those 15 minutes where we crumble. It happens so often, and it has to be player mentality. That's a very fair comment. Can't really disagree with that one. Tom says we need to get busy in the transfer market. Mark's asking if we've got any players left, and Gaz says very happy with the game last night, even though we lost. If only we had made the change after Leicester. On to the next one. Come on, you Irons. Jay saying, great first half, still seething about the corner being given. Ralph enjoyed that game last night for the first time in ages. He sees shoots. Good morning, Barry. I am good. Hope you are good as well. Hope the puppies are doing good. Kevin Orr said, it wasn't just West Ham injuries that hindered us. Barkley going off for Onana also strengthened Villa. I completely agree with that one, by the way. I think that really swung it in Villa's favour. They got better. We got worse with ours. Our injuries went off and we got worse. Villa's injuries went off and they got better. How's your luck? Lags says, Phantom Corner was interesting. Having said that, we didn't have anything going forward in the second half. Promising signs. I think we sat back a lot in the second half, and I kind of get it. But I do feel like, even though it shouldn't have been a corner, I do feel like the goal was coming. So when it happened, I was a bit, we've been asking for this a little bit. They were all over us in the second half, as far as I'm concerned. We were comfortable for periods of it, but I do feel like Villa were on top for the entire 45. But listen, I'm willing to give Potter a pass for this. Summerville went off injured. We didn't have a replacement for him. You could argue Guilherme should have maybe have come on, but like I said in the review, Potter's got no evidence of Guilherme. One training session. There's no video footage of Guilherme at West Ham to say, well, this is why you should play. We don't even have to coach. There is some coaches at West Ham. I know Lopetegui's backroom staff went, but there will be fitness coaches. There will be people on the training ground that don't change with managers. They're still there. As I say, the ones that put the cones out, that sounds a bit harsh, but my point is there will be some people there. But will Potter really be relying on their opinion of players? Probably not. So he needs to get to know the likes of Guilherme before he feels confident he can bring him on in a game like last night. So I think it was just too soon for that sub to happen. Infinitely said it's freezing. Hope Mrs. Gio and Grace have made me put the heating on. It's been on the last couple of weeks. I don't like it. Gives me a sore head. The radiator gives me a headache, but I've got to put up with it. Johnny says some positive signs last night, but the weakness and lack of depth in our squad was our undoing. Barry says, I like to think that we need a striker more than anything. Fullkrug is injured again. Ings is crap, and that's it. No attacking players on the bench. Richie says Summerville's taken off as a precaution. I think he was. I feel optimistic that Summerville isn't that bad because he played on for a little bit before he got to half time. Fullkrug obviously looked bad. My only slight positive is that he walked off rather than was stretchered off, but that doesn't say much. I'll be honest, when Fullkrug went down, I thought that's it. We ain't seen him again in a West Ham shirt just because of an injury. I thought he'll be out till the summer, then he'll go away in the summer. Hopefully we can get some positive news over the next few days. I'm optimistic, Richie. I'm a bit like yourself. I'm a bit optimistic with Summerville, but not so much for Fullkrug. Time to get that striker in pronto. Liam says, really enjoyed seeing tactics being played out and the switch between the 4-2-3-1 and 5-3-2 looked really natural. He liked what he saw. Kervinor said the magic of the cup's gone and we had Potter as well. Gary says great game last night and I could see what Potter was asking them to do and they were working together. Scarles was amazing. Brad says better fresh air and already feeling positive. Players looked like they had a plan. Infinitely said whilst the corner decision was terrible, we need to defend it better. I agree. I think Paqueta needs to be stronger, really. Jamie said glad Summerville was a precaution as a sub. In fact, he looked like he was enjoying being in charge of the whole right-hand side, really showed up Lopetegui's tactics and training. I thought he was magnificent, Summerville. I do. I think he was superb. Barry said Morgan Rogers should have been on the pitch to score. Should have been booked earlier for pulling to foul back. Wasn't booked, then got a yellow card. I've seen a lot of people say that, and I get it, right? Was it 2 bookable offences? Yes. But the one thing I always say, because I'm an incredibly strong believer in the butterfly effect, and here's a little insight into Gio's brain. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in things are meant to be and everything happens for a reason. I think it's a load of rubbish because, well, what you're basing it off of hope. But I believe in the butterfly effect. So everything happens because of a reason and not everything happens for a reason. And I think if Morgan Rogers had booked to the first foul, which I think he should have been, I don't think he commits the second foul. Now, that might be me being naive. However, most footballers are intelligent enough to know they're not on a booking, so they can do that foul and take a yellow card. And when they are on a yellow card, to go, right, okay, I can't make this foul. There was a good example in the Man City game with Kovacic on Summerville. So he took him down, got a yellow card. Not long after, Summerville ran across him. Kovacic just went like that and let Summerville go. If Kovacic wasn't on a booking, he would have hauled him down and took a yellow card, but he couldn't because he was on a booking. So I'm not convinced Rogers would have got sent off. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that if he got the first yellow, he wouldn't have made the foul for the second yellow. Anyway, maybe I'm being a bit kind to Morgan Rogers, but that's how I see things in football. It's a bit like, well, do you know when someone will say, well, if that goal didn't stand, we win the game. I think, well, not really, because that half an hour after the goal, everything changes. What you've seen after doesn't exist anymore. You change one small thing, everything else changes. There you go. Insight into brain. Martin says, enjoyable game in large. Kudus has lost interest and very sloppy with the ball, but feel we need. He's a bit of a 55-minute player, isn't he? Good for the first 55 minutes, and he starts his performance and what feels like his interest really starts to depreciate pretty quickly as the second half goes on. And it's happened under it's one game, happened under 3 different managers now. So we need to get a rocket under his arse and get him up and running, especially with Fullkrug out. That could be our striker. We don't know for the time being. I think it might have to be because alternative is Danny Ings. Mark says, surely the bigger problem is who plays up front. There you go, Mark. That's my solution. Caduce. Steve says, like most, I'm reasonably okay with last night. We do have something to build on. We're desperate to bring in new faces. Oliver says, Souček, Soufal, Mavropanos need to be replaced in January. Possibly also bottle playing goalkeeper. I think my unpopular opinion, going by some comments, is I thought Souček was all right last night. I thought he played okay. I don't think he was man of the match, but I don't think he had a bad game personally. But I've seen a lot of criticism. I agree with the Soufal Mavropanos one, though, Oliver. I thought they both had a bad game. Peter said, no, that Everton will finish above us for the next 3 seasons. Moyes' most successful manager West Ham have had recently. Joseph says, don't really want to see Mavropanos, Soufal and Ings play for us again. Saw enough yesterday to be reasonably optimistic, but we definitely need an active transfer window. Could maybe see Soufal going to Everton. They've been playing Ashley Young there. Seamus Coleman's obviously got a lot of injury problems. Something's happened to Nathan Patterson. I don't know what. So they need a right back. Soufal's contract's up in January. We might get a small fee, $500,000 or something, but you'd imagine Moyes would be okay with Soufal on an 18-month contract or something. Rookie says, only possible positive is that injuries force more of the youth to get a chance. Judging by Scholes' performance, they're ready to step up. Major said, I'm just glad to see we had a go and didn't set up not to lose. Really enjoyed that game. Helped that he had a single malt whiskey while I was watching it. Fat Bloke says, what a name. These injuries are happening because we actually pressed well last night. We've not been asked to press up until now. Just shows how undertrained we are. I think, to some extent, I think the Fullkrug one's just because Fullkrug's injury prone, but possibly. Graham says, luck and injuries destroyed us. They came out the second half and you could just see us dropping further back. Dewsbury Hall to replace Paqueta, that would be a start. I thought Paqueta was okay. I know he was still rolling around a little bit, criticised him for the first goal because I think with concept, and then there's 5 minutes later, he does the same thing again, but got a free kick for it. I mean, we gained here, but this is where the lack of consistency from referees is astounding sometimes. So Konsa pushes Paqueta and it leads to a goal, not a foul. And he goes and does a less of a push and he gives a free kick for it. What's that about? I don't think either are fouls by. I'm not saying we should have had a foul twice. I'm saying we shouldn't have had a foul either time. But it's just, I don't know. Beggar's belief sometimes, isn't it? Paul says, so it was noticeable how much better we were with Wan-Bissaka at right centre-back. Once he moved, we got worse. Keep him there and sign Walker-Peters. Andrew says, the first time in a long while, we actually looked like we had a plan and structure of how we wanted to play. Positive signs already. Daniel said, first half had me buzzing. Second half was a predicted a regression with injuries, showing our lack of strength in depth. Lashmar says, I feel more positive after this game than the odd win we've had. Yes, completely agree. We beat Wolves, didn't we? Beat Southampton, and you come away from them thinking, got away with that one. Got beat last night, but you think, all right, there's something here that we can take into the next game. Infinitely says, positive first half. See what Potter can do. Real shame about injuries. Hindsight, Potter should have come in the summer. If he wanted to change the system, he has experience. Cosmos wants to see Ward-Prowse back. Luke said, disappointing result in the end, but was very impressed with the performance in the first half. What would an ideal transfer window look like to you? Possibly one of those unpopular opinions. I wouldn't go wild. Unless a really good opportunity presented itself to buy a player, I'd be looking at the loan market and only the loan market, unless either a really good player is a bit cheaper because of his situation at his club, a really good player is cheaper because of his contract situation. So Kyle Walker-Peters, for example, what's his price tag? Could we get him for $4 million because he's out of contract in the summer? Southampton are getting relegated. You'd imagine he's walking out that club for free. Look, Saints are going down, so you could either have $4 million now or he goes down. Bear in mind, in the summer, you're going to be trying to get every penny you can because you've just been relegated. So could we get Kyle Walker-Peters on the cheap? That's the type of deals I'd be looking to do. There's one player in particular out of contract that currently plays in France, not Jonathan David. I still don't have a strong opinion. Despite being linked to Jonathan David so much, I still don't have a strong opinion. I just haven't watched him enough. Obviously, there's a few clubs supposedly making a contract offer to him. If that's who we want, do it now. Go get him signed up so that in the summer he comes on a free and a Bosman. Excellent. But there's one player, another player in France going out of contract in the summer. I'd like to get that. I'd love us to try and get that done. Not for now, for the summer. But yeah, January transfer window, I would keep our powder dry as much as we can and keep the money for the summer transfer window. Give Graham Potter this few months to evaluate the team he's got. But the loan market, there's going to be a lot of players. I would imagine there's a lot of good players available for loan in this window. So how many players do we need? 2, 3 players? You could get at least 2 of them in on loan. And I would get Premier League players as well so that they're used to the league. They're used to England. You don't have this potential settling in issue. I'd get rid of that. I'd remove that concern. Get players that are already in the Premier League on loan for the remainder of the season. 2 of them. Which 2? Marcus Rashford. I've seen us linked to him. Not sure I believe it too much, but if he's available, yes. Evan Ferguson, yes. Awoni, yes. Dewsbury Hall, so. If we could recall James Ward-Prowse, I would. And it's not because I think he's going to come in and be a revolution. It's just that I think revelation. It's just that I think he's not playing minutes at Nottingham Forest, right? I'd rather he sat on our bench and Nottingham Forest's bench. So if we can get Ward-Prowse back, get him back, because he's a handy player to have in and around the squad. I think we could have done with him last night. So last night when Summerville got injured, it would have been shuffling the pack a little bit. But I think you could have made an argument, well, put Kudus on the right, bring James Ward-Prowse on. And I know we don't like him in that number 10 role, but he's looked all right in some games. Arsenal Cup game, for example, he was incredible. One of the best individual performances I've seen in a West Ham shirt. Put him in there and help retain the ball. So I think I'd get Ward-Prowse back. So you strengthen the squad without... It's your player. You're bringing your player back. Personally, that's what I'd be looking to do. Not spend money. We'll wait and see. Hammer 99, would you take Eric Dyer? He's doing well. He did do well last season under Tuchel. He scored at the weekend. 6 months left on his deal at Bayern. Would be ideal picking the back 3. Possibly. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but the question is, would you swap him for Mavropanos? Okay, that's the question. And I think my answer would be probably. So therefore, my answer for Eric Dyer is yes. He wouldn't be the top of my list, but I think it would allow you to move Mavropanos on and replace him without spending any money. That's how I'd go about it. But the wild thing is, he's not homegrown. Eric Dyer's not a homegrown player because he was brought up in Portugal. So even though he's English, he doesn't count as homegrown. So that's the thing you need to sort of consider a little bit. That one there. I see people discussing the amount of loans you can make, but I haven't seen anyone say you can't loan more players, because I was going to click on that comment and discuss it. But I had it when I did the video about Carlos Soler, because we were being linked to signing him for 20 million. I said, no, just wait, back off. You don't. Here you go, Seiji. You can only have 2 loans at a time, so you have to at least be active to buy it. You don't. You can't. It's not your fault. You've been told a lie, okay? It's not your fault, Seiji. You've been told misinformation by someone. I don't know who. But you can't have just 4. Just 2. You can't have just 2. You can have more. Now, either... one of these 2 things are true. Either you've been told misinformation and it's not your fault, you've believed it, you just accept it. Someone's told you, and you've gone, okay, I now know you're only allowed 2 players. Or Everton have broke the rules all season and no one's doing anything about it because they've got 4 players on loan at the minute. So the rule is 2 domestic loans So Carlos Soler and Tadibo, we don't need to buy them. You can keep them on loan. Go get Evan Ferguson and go get Dewsbury Hall, whichever two players you want. You can still go get them. So we don't need to buy either Soler or Tadibo before we loan players in. We can still go loan players. Okay, if you don't believe me, Seiji, and anyone else, because people still don't believe me, go look at Everton. They've got 4 players on loan. There you go. One of these things are true. Either Everton's broke the rules, or you can loan more than 2 players. One of those are true. Clario said we had a clear corner not given before, and we're going to play for 20 minutes. Revenge for the Ken McNaught handball. Good luck for seeing that. Good luck to yourselves as well. I've got nothing against you. I want to see you do it. I want to see you get Champions League football again. So good luck to Villa. Football says a Gerd on loan this season, better than Mavropanos. Lopetegui messed his squad up big time. Brought in 9 new players and squad no better. Aguero's been absolutely fantastic. He has been absolutely fantastic over in La Liga. When I've been doing the loan reports, every match I click on Aguero, look at his statistics, try and see if there's a review on him. And it's just been positivity all season. When they were playing the Europa League, he was being rested. It indicates he's like an important player for them now. Even like Real Madrid are sort of having a little look as well. So, yeah. Aguero is loving it. Life in La Liga at the minute. Major thinks he could flourish. I would leave him. Personally, I would leave Aguero where he is because he's doing so well. There's a lot of interest in him at the minute. So come the summer, we can either bring back a player that's had a good season or sell him and get 25 million for him, hopefully. So I would leave him where he is. And it's the same with Daniel. It says, why Ward-Prowse, why not Potts? Because Potts is doing fantastically well at Portsmouth. When we loan your young players out, you want them to get game time. You want them to get confidence. And Potts is getting that where he is. Would Potts come in and play every minute, every week at West Ham? No. He might be an option and get some minutes. But where he is at the minute, he's one of the most important players in a Portsmouth team playing in the Championship. I think this is fantastic development. Leaving where the whole point of loaning Potts out this year was to get him developed. That's happening. I don't think we should recall him. Leave him where he is. And we're trying to establish, you want to establish good bonds with these clubs. So in the summer, Portsmouth come knocking and say, ooh, can we have George Erty on loan for the season? You can go, do you know what? You can, because we know you're going to play him every week. But if you recall him happy through the season, Portsmouth, and then you go, hey, Pompey, we've got George Erty. Nah, you're all right, because you might recall him in January and one of our main players is gone. So I personally, leave him where he is and have a look, and get him back in summer and have a look at him through pre-season in Potter's side. That's what I would do personally. Hammer says a centre-back midfielder is far easier than a striker. If Tim wants to prove his worth, he needs to go and find us a Demba Ba. They're out there as well. How often do you see another team bring in a player you never really heard of and they perform just like that? And you're like, oh, okay. Come on, Timmy, go get someone. Andrew doesn't think Aguero wants to come back. Joey says he likes them coming back, but it feels like we need more hard-working, determined players. There is that as well, isn't it? Anyway, what I was going to say at the start of the video, because Simon said this, given the impressive debut of Scarles, Potter will hopefully take a closer look at some of the other promising. So at risk of being told I'm doing Potter's PR for him and it's propaganda and whatever, but for those that missed the build-up show last night, someone told me yesterday that Potter's been speaking to the young players. Now, obviously, there was only a handful of them that was with the first team last night. It's not like the entire under-21 team went up and Potter was speaking to them all. But those young players that did travel with the first team up to Birmingham, Potter was speaking to the youngsters individually. And I think, and by the sounds of it, the vibe I'm getting, it's made a big difference because they were not feeling enthusiastic about their opportunities under Lopetegui or the opportunities that may come. I think they were feeling confident they wouldn't get a chance under Lopetegui. So the change of Lopetegui out, and this is why when I seen this report that a lot of the players were going to Martin Noble in the end and saying, hey, this guy's just right, we're struggling, we can't connect with him, we can't communicate with him, we're really struggling. And Mark Noble apparently had a bit of a sway in sacking Lopetegui. And I assumed it was the first team players that the report was referring to. So I don't know. Let's just say Jared Bowen, for example, had gone to Noble and said it's not really working. The boys are struggling, blah blah blah. But there's maybe a possibility, and this is me putting 2 and 2 together here. This bit from now on is my opinion. There's maybe a possibility that actually Noble knew there was 1 or 2 academy players unhappy, thinking this guy's going to stay. I'm not sure my future is going to be at West Ham, because Noble's duty is the academy. That's his priority. And I remember in January 2023 it was when we let Equa, struggled to remember his name there. Elise was in my brain. I was like, it wasn't Elise, it was someone else. And maybe Elise, did Elise go in the same window as Equa to Sunderland? Regardless, when Equa went to Sunderland, I remember Mark Noble going on Ben Foster's podcast, and Mark Noble said the reason that some of our under 21s are leaving, because we're having like a clear out almost. And he said, it's because I need to get them out to create a pathway for the under 18s to get through to the first team. So the older players and under 21s were sort of in the way a little bit. And that was his justification for letting some of the academy boys go. And if that's true, you've got to stick to your word a little bit. So if the players at Noble's already cleared a pathway for us, and I'm not sure when I trod on this pathway, he's got to listen to that. So I don't know, maybe the academy, the lack of hope from the academy had a say in Mark Noble forming his opinion of Lopetegui. All depends on the reports. Like I said, make up your own mind. It all depends on what you read and who you believe. I strongly, strongly believe that. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you what someone told me yesterday, that Potter spoke to the academy players and they're feeling good off the back of it. Right, 5 more minutes. Let's see what you're all saying. Get your comments into the live chat. Chrissy says, fine first half, legs went in the middle around the hour mark or so. Christoph says it's a big change from when we announced Lopetegui. Tim Stadium was everywhere, and this time nothing. Something to read into. Depends how much you've been following this week in the West Ham universe, Christoph. And again, it depends on what you read and who you believe. Some would say yes, some would say no. Form your own opinion. Daniel says, if we get players on loan and plays, can we have them with no obligation to buy? Yeah, I don't want I hate obligate. When loaning players in, option. Loaning players out, obligation. I appreciate that's a little bit two-faced. I don't care. Nick said, should have put Souček in attack after Fullkrug went off and replaced Souček with Solar. Souček could make a good target man with his heading abilities. Chrissy said Alvarez and Souček centre mid. Do him a favour. Kyriakos says that Noble being in that role is to our advantage. He's got a bit of influence in the club just because he's been there for long enough and knows the politics of the place. Supposedly, Noble's got like a lot of sway. When that report came out, it was saying like, don't underestimate the influence Mark Noble has behind the scenes. So although he's not involved with the first team that much, if he then thinks the manager needs to go, then certain people at the club would be persuaded because it's Mark Noble that's saying so. I'm not against that. Usual says, any news about Lingard? He seems to have dropped off the radar for 5 minutes. I don't know if you're being cheeky or you genuinely want to know. If you genuinely want to know, I'll tell you. But if you're just being funny, then fair enough. Hammer99 says, nice to see the positivity amongst the fan base despite defeat last night. All hopeful of a good run. Second half of the season, away fans were unreal last night. They did sound very, very good. Your parcel comes today. I hope you like it. And I got your Christmas donation. Thank you very much. Hammer99. I know he didn't do it for publicity, but he donated. He won a prize on Christmas Day, which arrives today. And he sent a thank you over. He made a Christmas donation. So, Hammer99, thank you very much. Much appreciated and very kind. Kudus is a top player, says Andrew, but my criticism of him is he needs to play for himself. Sometimes he needs to be more of a team player. Steve says, first we had the players, but crap manager. Now we have a decent manager. Players are dropping like flies. Let's see how much Sullivan supports Potter. We need a striker. Ross says lots of positives from last night. We need a striker and centre back. Dylan says, I'm hopeful Potter can be a good fit for us. Like to see Paqueta have a good shot from outside the But it was a good shot. Not going to lie, when he was lining it up, I was thinking, don't hit it, cross it, you greedy so-and-so. But it was a really good effort. Hammer Crow says it was a good to watch a game and feel something. I'd gone numb with Lopetegui. Looking forward to seeing what Potter can do. Mark says, well done to Potter for being brave enough to start a youngster despite playing tough opposition and having a senior left back on the bench. Jamie says, hope we get a few signings in and secure our Premier League status. Treat the remainder of the season a long pre-season for Potter. Reconvene in the summer and go again. Luke says another positive was how all the players and Potter went over to the away fans and clapped. With Lopetegui, most were straight down the tunnel at the full-time whistle. Great support last night. Matt's asking about the homegrown players. Okay, it's okay now. But we're gonna. It's something we need to look at because in the summer, obviously Danny Ings is going to go. James Ward-Prowse could go. Not that he's part of the homegrown players today, but he's a homegrown player. And then we've Aaron Creswell is obviously likely to go, and Michael Antonio is possible that he would go as well. The club haven't really said what their intentions are with Antonio. Are they going to let him go, or are they going to give him a new deal and stick with him as he does his rehab? So the club have got a decision to make there. But even if only Ings and Creswell leave, that's 2 homegrown players out. We're doing okay for homegrown players at the minute, but something we do need to monitor. We will have to bring in a couple in the summer if we're going to be busy in the transfer window. So we're all right. We're all right, but so we need a plan. Hammer99 said, my pleasure. Keep up the top work and hopefully makes up for those couple of people cancelled their Patreon last week. Thank you. Very kind of you. There's context to that. For people thinking that's a bit harsh, there's more to it. Jordan said, if relegation not a concern, why not give Casey a run rather than get a centre back in China? Because I think relegation could be a concern. We lose a couple of, we're only 7 points clear, which is a good buffer zone, but you lose a couple of games and suddenly you're like, oh, I'm a little bit worried about Ipswich Town, which isn't great. So it could become a concern. Kyriakos stopped following the club for the first time in 30 years towards the end of Lopetegui's reign. I felt getting jaded and frustrated. Well, it's good to see you back. Paul says, don't think we'll see the best of Potter until next season. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree, Paul, here. With a lot of injuries and just need to see an improvement on performances. Make West Ham great again, says Mav Panos gives him hope we can all make it as a professional footballer. Hammerco says, don't forget to like the video. Thank you, Hammerco. Please do. Seiji says, Sal Patreon to in one word. Fun. There you go. I've done my best. That's the word I would use. Right then, I'm going to leave it there. Finishing off with Michael saying, giving the Scars a start will showcase the possibility to the rest of the academy that there is a pathway to the first team. I am going to love you and leave you, and don't need to explain about Jesse Lingard, but for anyone interested, Jesse Lingard is playing in South Korea, and he's enjoying life at the minute. He's the Lingard you've seen at West Ham. At Man United, it wasn't really the Jesse Lingard. He had off-field issues, came to West Ham, found his football, made the wrong decision to go to Nottingham Forest. He's gone to South Korea, it's obviously a completely different world out there for him, but he's really enjoying his football again, but also enjoying the culture out there. I think he's really got involved, and he looks happy. So there you go. That's Jesse Lingard. For anyone that matters, hopefully, I think it was Chippy. Hopefully, he actually wanted to know. If not, apologies. Before you go, please do drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Sky News Hammers chat. I'll catch up with you in a bit.